Right, so let's take a look at another past exam question. So this is from Core Maths C2, January 2007. It's an Edexcel question, and this is question number 3. So let's have a read. The line joining the points -1, 4 and 3, 6 is a diameter of the circle C, and we need to work out or find an equation for C. So in other words, we need to find the equation of this circle. So if you're unaware in terms of how to work out the equation of a circle, I have created videos on this, and I'll give links to these videos in the description below. However, let me talk briefly about the process. Now, the equation of a circle, so if the center of the circle has coordinates A and B, so if I pick up my pen, so if you know the coordinates of the center, so if the center coordinates are A and B, so the coordinates of the center, if they've been provided, if they have the form A and B, and if you know the radius of the circle, so radius, and if that is denoted by R, so the equation of the circle is given by x minus a squared plus y minus b squared, and that is equal to r squared. So that is the equation of the circle form, where again a and b are the coordinates of the center and r is the radius. Now, in this particular problem, we've been given 2 points, -1, 4 and 3, 6. These are the points, and these points form the diameter of this circle. So let's have an idea of what's been given to us. So for example, if we have a circle like so, and for argument's sake, if -1, 4 is somewhere here, so here's the point -1 and 4, and if we have another point 3, 6, so again for argument's sake, if this is the point 3 and 6, so these 2 points form the diameter of this circle. So I want to make it as clear or as visually pleasing as possible. So imagine that line to be the diameter of the circle. Okay, not quite, but imagine it to be the diameter of the circle, and it's passing through the center of the circle. So let me denote this cross here to be our center, the center of the circle. Now, we need a number of things in order for us to use this equation here. We need firstly the center of the circle, so we need the coordinates of the center, i.e. this point, which is going to be our AB, the coordinates of the center. And since the points 3, 6 and -1, 4 form the diameter, if we calculate the midpoint of these 2 points, we'll get the coordinates of the center. So let's work out the midpoint of these 2 points, and that will give us the coordinates of the center. So in this case, we have -1, 4. So I'm going to call that, or name that, x1, y1. So x1, y1 is -1 and 4. And we have the other point, which I'm going to name x2, y2. So x2, y2 is 3, 6. So in order to work out the x coordinate of the midpoint, we're going to be using our midpoint formulas. So xm is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So if I follow through the calculation, xm will be, now x1 corresponds to -1 plus x2, that corresponds to 3, all divided by 2. And if I continue along the line, -1 plus 3 is 2. 2 divided by 2 cancels to 1. So that is the x coordinate of the midpoint. Now let's work out the y coordinate of the midpoint. So using ym, ym formula wise is y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So if I replace the data, y1 corresponds to 4 plus y2 that corresponds to 6, all divided by 2. So if I continue along the line, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 over 2 is 5. So the coordinates of the midpoint, so xm and ym, so these coordinates are 1 for xm and 5 for ym. So this is the coordinate of the midpoint, and remember this midpoint forms the center of the circle. So this is the basis for the center of the circle. Right, so we got the center coordinates 1, 5, so this will be a and b respectively in the formula. Let's figure out how we would calculate the radius. So to work out the radius of the circle, so i.e. this length here, the distance from the center to the extreme point on the diameter, so that's going to be our r, the radius. Let's use the length formula. So I'm going to use the length formula using the coordinates for the center, which is 1, 5 and 3, 6 in this case. So if I continue over here, so let's figure this out. So remember the length formula. So in this case, in order to work out r, so the length, and I've named that r, so that's going to give us the radius. Okay, so in this case r is going to be the square root, and the length formula goes like this, so it's x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. So let me denote the points for this formula. So my x1 and y1, so I'm going to call that 1 and 5, i.e. the coordinates of the center point of our circle, and my x2, y2, let's name that, let's call that 3, 6. So x2, y2, so that's going to be used for 3, 6. So with that being said, let's substitute into the formula. So we have the square root of x1 corresponds to 1, so 1 minus, x2 corresponds to 3, so 1 minus 3, close bracket squared, plus y1, which is 5, minus y2, which is 6 rather, squared. So if I go one stage further, 1 minus 3 is minus 2 squared is 4, plus, and 5 minus 6 is minus 1 squared is plus 1. And if I simplify, so we're going to have a radius of root 5. So the radius of our circle is root 5. Now if we go back to my initial point, so remember the equation of a circle, so don't forget this formula or the form for the equation of the circle. So if the center coordinates are given a and b, and if the radius is r, it's x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. So don't forget this result here. So this is the form for the equation of the circle given the respective data. So in this case, let's apply the formula. So it's going to be x minus ra, so a is the x coordinate of the center point. The x coordinate of the center point we found here as being 1. So let me put an extra step. So ra and b, coordinates of the center point, that relates to the midpoint 1 and 5, and the radius we found as root of 5. So that's the data that we're going to be using. And let's plug it into the formula. So let me continue down over here. So for the equation of the circle, so let me write down the formula again. So it's x minus a squared plus y minus b squared. So y minus b squared. And that is equal to r squared. So when I plug in the data, x minus a is 1. So 1 squared plus y minus b is 5. So 5 squared. And that is equal to r. R is square root of 5. So square root of 5 squared. And root of 5 squared is simply 5. So let me leave my answer as x minus 1 squared plus y minus 5 squared. And that is equal to 5. So that should be the solution for this particular question. Question number 3. So that completes the question. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.